All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Cincinnati Bengals rookie linebacker Demetrius Knight. I tell you what, Bengals fans, we talked about Stewart being an impressive young playmaker. You got yourself another one here in this young linebacker. Talk about a heat-seeking missile, a great addition to this defense. We'll break down everything he did so well. As always, in the comment section below, give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want to help support us doing more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. There's a link in the description box below. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with the run defense, and there is Knight right there, of course, on the middle of your screen, number 44. And look, this is obviously not Joe Flacco, a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. We're in a wildcat formation against the Cincinnati Bengals. We're going to run a power concept against Cincinnati's defense. We're going to get double teams inside, working up to the backside linebacker, back block here. We're going to get the guard kicking out the defensive end, pulling. We're going to get this running back leading the way here, trying to pick up Knight. Running back going to follow all this action inside. Puts a lot of pressure on the linebacker right there. You can see not a lot of guys here on the right side of the defense. If you look at all the bodies, if you count them up, the Browns are going to have one. Really, let's get rid of the center. He's blocking back. They're going to have one, two. They're going to have him pulling three, four guys for these four guys, right? This is a chance to be a big play for the Browns. Knight shuts it down. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. There's a counter action. 44 makes the play. Good rep. All right, let's go back to the very beginning here and break this all down. So we can see these double teams, guard kicking out the defensive end, safety 27 doing a really good job filling right there. All right, let's look at Knight here, number 44, play side linebacker. You got 22 coming at you, dish rags him inside, makes a tackle. Really good play. I love how he keeps his hips, shoulders, knees, everything parallel to line of scrimmage the entire time. Sometimes if you avoid linebackers and you just jump around linebackers and get kind of discombobulated one side or the other, running backs can cut off that block, right? But because he's parallel the entire time, he covers up a lot of space and then is in a strong football position. Look at his bent knee position. He's like in a classic breakdown position there to make a form tackle. When you play the game of football in a good ready position, good things happen, right? That's just a fact. And Knight, being an athletic guy, a heat-seeking missile, as I like to say, he still plays the football with a calm, cool demeanor when it comes time to make the tackle and play inside run. Really nice play. Really good start to his career for the Bengals. All right, for the wide copy, you can see 44 right there in the middle of your screen as they adjust the Wildcat. Sees a running back come, jumps around him, squares him up, makes a tackle. Good finish. Again, really good technique. You can see how parallel he stays the entire time. Right there, he moves around him, but he's still parallel to the line of scrimmage. This is really good because you get a little butt in the hole action right there. Because if this running back trying to hug close to 22, 22 is taking up a lot of space. So if he goes close to 22, he'll run into him. If he goes too wide, 27 for Cincinnati will make the tackle. If he goes inside, there's 44, there's Knight. Good defense for the Bengals. All right, how about a little pass defense? There's Knight, number 44, right in the middle of your screen. Again, you talk about a playmaker. That's what this guy is fundamentally, right? And we're going to get a crossing route here for David Njoku, the really talented Browns tight end. Knight drops into coverage, recognizes, reacts, and he makes the play. This is a huge job for a linebacker on a really athletic tight end. Showcases his great ability and why the Bengals are so high on him. Let's check it out. There's a snap, drop into coverage, tight end over the middle, crossing pattern, makes the play, incomplete pass. This is a situation where the Browns draw it up and they said, we like this matchup, right? We got a super athletic tight end, veteran tight end, David Njoku, on a rookie linebacker. That's a win for us. Actually, it's a loss for you, Cleveland, as this game was. This is such a good play. Now, it doesn't look like anything special. I mean, it looks like good defense. It doesn't look like, something to really write home about. But this is a situation where a lot of linebackers, they get lost in the dust. They may be slow to react. You can see how he drops into coverage right here, and he immediately sees Njoku cross his face and comes and makes the play. There's a lot of rookies that'll be a little slow, little lethargic going through it. They're a little not fast enough to react, and then they don't have the athleticism here to cover up all that ground and break the pass up completely. There's a lot of guys that may make the tackle, but still could be a 2-3 yard gain. This is no gain, of course, incomplete pass. Again, Knight not perfect in his debut, but he was really, really good. He's got a bright future. Run defense, pass game, checks every single box. What a draft pick for Cincinnati.
Yeah, Nate, when we talk about coverage for Demetrius Knight Jr., doing pretty decent, I would say here. 61 overall coverage grade for a rookie in their first game here. I think it's good. You see, he gets the pass breakup here. Just like you said, this could be a really tricky situation for a lot of different players. Njoku, very good tight end here, but he's able to get the job done, and he was put into coverage quite a lot. 36 snaps where he was dropped into coverage versus this Browns team. So Demetrius Knight looking good in coverage really early on.
All right, we talk about effort and playmaking ability. This is a great example of it. So you can see Knight right there. He's actually lined up on the line of scrimmage. It's a short yardage deal. And the Browns are just going to give an inside fullback handoff just like this. And Knight comes unblocked off the edge. Now, he's unblocked because the Browns are like, listen, no one can make the play from that far away. It's an inside run. But Knight's such a good athlete, and he lays out. He actually makes a play, makes the tackle. You talk about elite effort. You talk about elite 1-2 with great athleticism. Bengals fans, you got the whole package here. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. There's the inside run. Knight comes flying in, makes a play. Let's go back to the very beginning. I mean, this is bonkers, right? This is a run literally to the left of the center in the A gap, right there. Knight comes all the way off the edge outside the tight end, right? If we look at the gaps here, we got A, we got B, we got C, we got a D gap. He's coming off the edge, flies in there, and dives and makes a tackle. If you look at the distance, right, we're looking at this fullback ran about 3 yards, about the time it took Knight to run about 12. Turn the corner. Look at this hip movement. I think this guy can rush the passer. I like him in some blitzes with this kind of athleticism, this turning his hips, keeping his pads low, laying out. Look at this effort. You talk about wanting to win football games. This is how you win week 1. Look at that. This is a guy who wants to make plays. This is a guy who's playing at a high level. One of the problems, I think, in the prior years with the Bengals defense, to be totally honest, not elite effort all of the time. Knight's the guy who comes in day 1 and brings it. Good play here for the rookie. All right, from the top of the screen, from the wide copy, you can see Knight just come off the edge and make this play. I mean, this is really good stuff. Layout right there. Look at that. That's awesome. Talk about turning the corner, great athleticism, great hips, ability to recognize and react. Remember, he's going to go around this corner, see right there that's a handoff, immediately turn on a dime and make the play. You're talking high-level problem solving. You're talking high-level athleticism, playmaking ability, 1-2. Every single box you want any defensive player to check, any player in general to check, Knight does it here for Cincinnati. Look, again, still things to improve on. Wasn't a perfect performance, but so far, so good for the rookie linebacker. All right, going back to some pass coverage, and there's Knight, number 44, right there in the middle of your screen. I talked about effort on the prior play. This is another great example of this. I'm going to pick on 55 right here. It's just going to be a short little route over here, just a quick throw to Joe Flacco. Minimal gain, nothing special. But you can see based on the coverage, 55 is going to drop in his own coverage, so is 44. The throw is going to go right over here. 55 should have made this play, or at least been part of the tackle. But Knight gets there before him. I mean, this is really bonkers stuff. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. Flacco looks, short throw. Knight gets there first, guys. I want you to watch this again. Watch 55 and watch 44. Who's playing at an elite level athleticism? Who's a star athlete? Who wants to make this play? And I'm not trying to pick on 55, right? He's played a lot of football. He's a veteran, right? But look at him and then look at Knight. For lack of a better phrase, it's like night and day, the difference. I mean, look at all this ground he covers and the want to get to the football, hustling to the play. This is why you win games with deflected interceptions, when you have hustle and effort like this. This is how you force fumbles. I can't get over this. From the first time I saw this film, I couldn't believe it. I had to double check and triple check because I thought, well, maybe 55 was on the right here and 44 was on the left. But that's not the case, guys. I don't understand how he can't make this play. The only thing I can come to is that 44 is just that athletic, that fast, and that much of a competitor. Seeing plays like this, I expect a lot of forced fumbles, recovered fumbles, all kind of big plays this season and in the future for this exciting Bengals playmaker.
Yeah, Nick, and there's a lot to like for Demetrius Knight Jr. And it's stuff like this that I think really, could get him more opportunities and something he didn't get a whole lot of opportunities in. That's the pass rush game. We see the speed here. We see his athleticism over his 3 NFL contests, 2 preseason and 1 regular season game. He's only been given a pass rush situation twice. I think it's something that I would like to see more of him because stuff like this is so impressive. His athleticism, his ability to move quick, get to the ball. I think he could do a good job in the pass rush game as well.
All right, going back to the run defense, and there's 44 right there in the middle of your screen. Part of playing linebacker in the run defense game is navigating through trash and getting through a lot of craziness in front of you, and that's what the Browns try and do here. It's going to be a wide zone concept working to the right side of your screen, the offensive right, everyone running that direction. They're going to get wide receiver motion pre-snap, and they're going to take 44 at the snap and go across the formation to kick out the in-man line of scrimmage. So you're going to get a lot of movement this direction. You're going to get a lot of movement behind this direction, and then you're going to get a lot of movement this direction. The goal of that is just to confuse these guys, create a lot of chaos in front of it. And on top of that, you got a 250-pounder, then a bunch of 300-pounders running in front of you. How do you navigate all this? You do what Knight does here. Great job. Let's check it out. All right, there's the motion. There's the snap. 44 across the formation. Wide zone concept. Knight makes a play. Good tackle. Let's go back to the very beginning. Again, navigating the trash. Follows the motion, reads the hole, gets in his gap right there. That's where he wants to be. When the running back commits, come off and make the tackle. Really good stuff, right? You have to play your gap first. You can see by alignment, post motion, he's between this defensive tackle and this defensive end. Where does he end up in terms of his gap? And between the defensive tackle and the defensive end. You have to play your gap first. If you don't play team defense, gap-minded defense, you can't play. It is that simple. And guess what? 44, he does it. I really like to see that. Well coached. Obviously did a lot of good teaching with Al Golden. Good job I think, in his collegiate ranks in South Carolina. Guy was coached good fundamentals, and we see it right here. Smart play, but the running back cuts back. Now you turn on a playmaker, and you finish strong with a good tackle. Everything you want to see, right? You talk about the surge, the beginning of the play, going to your gap. Good job. The offense counters with an inside run by the cutback, a little cutback there from the running back, and then you finish with the tackle. This is good football. This is good linebacker play. Again, the Bengals took a lot of criticism for a lot of their early draft picks. I think when you look at Stewart and you look at Knight, a lot of that criticism wasn't well-founded. These are two really good players, and 44 specifically has a bright future. All right, for the wide copy, you're going to see Knight right there at the bottom of your screen right there. He's going to shift over, and he's going to just navigate the trash and then make the tackle. Still a good run for Cleveland. Don't get me wrong. It's not like this was a 3-yard loss. This could have been a lot more. Right there, this is a chance to maybe pop for 12, but Knight does a really good job limiting the damage. Again, part of playing defense, I say this all the time, and I know we talk about it on our channel, is limiting the damage. Right there, the Browns think they got 9 or 10. They only end up getting 4 or 5, right? That's a win for the defense in terms of giving up fewer yards than expected. You do that enough, you'll get some chances on 3rd and 4th down to make plays, which the Bengals ended up doing, right? Wasn't a perfect performance by Cincinnati by any means, but plays like this put them over the top in a Week 1 win. All right, quick break in the film review. Look, I was taught to break down film by my college coaches at the Division I level. All the players are. It's just a fact of playing football at that level. And I want to take this opportunity to give you guys, the average fan, more opportunities to get that insider knowledge of how the game is taught at that highest level of college football. I created a checklist, a step-by-step guide for you guys, 100% free. That's based on how I was taught to break down film by my coaches, and that I use today to create these film reviews. There's a link in the description box below that'll take you right to it. I really appreciate it if you guys decide to get it. Again, 100% free, just trying to share information to you guys, stuff that was taught to me by my coaches. But without further ado, let's get back into the film. All right, this next play is about doing your job in the run game. So you can see Knight lined up right there on the left side of your screen. So you can see a defensive end. He's lined about wide right here. And you can see by structure the gap assignments of the defense. It looks like, my opinion here, this defensive end has this gap. He has that gap. This defensive tackle has this gap. This linebacker is stacked right here, but he's really got an eye on this gap. This defensive tackle has this gap. There's some question about who has this gap right here. So what ends up happening is this defensive end, he crashes inside and Knight goes outside. Again, you got to have a good gap mindset. So what ends up happening is a running back bounces and runs right into Knight. But this is a situation where early on in the play, he could have left his gap assignment and opened up a hole for the Browns offense. Again, he does his job. A team guy first. Really good to see it. Smart, high football IQ guy. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's the inside run. Running back bounces it right into Knight. Limited gain. Let's look at this gap responsibility swap, right? You can see this defensive end crash down inside. You can see how this all works out before it's all said and done, right? Running back right there, he says, okay, this defensive end crashed inside. They lost contain. I want to bounce it, and there's Knight with contain. He would have made the play if the running back wouldn't have fallen down. I mean, he's right there, right? If the running back doesn't fall down, Knight's there to wrap him up and make the tackle. When you do your job, good team defense, he works outside and gets outside leverage. Again, I love the fact that he's so square. Knees, hips, helmet, shoulder pads, everything parallel to line of scrimmage at all times. Really, really good to see. Again, good fundamentals. But when you do your job and execute, good things happen. One of the other problems for the Bengals defense last year, in my opinion, outside of hustle and effort at times, was you had some guys kind of free-ranging, right? Making their own plays, going outside the structure of the defense. Not seeing that in Week 1. You have guys like Knight as rookies doing their job, executing at a high level. Great sign for the future for the Bengals.
Yeah, Nick, and I really like this play for Knight. It's something that he's actually growing. We're seeing more of since the preseason, throughout the preseason in those 2 games. Actually only got 2 stops, 1 in each preseason game. We're starting to see him get some more playing time, get some more time on the field here in the regular season Week 1 game. 4 stops for Knight, 10 total tackles, doing a really good job. We're seeing him turn it on and make plays for this defense.
All right, let's end on one of my favorite plays from Knight, and there he is, of course, on the right side of your screen. It's going to be a quick throw out here to the right flat, and Knight, again, showcases his speed, his athleticism, his hustle is 1-2. He sprints out there and makes a tackle. He's a guy that when he's on the football field, there's not yards after contact, there's not yards after catch. He is just really darn good at getting defenders on the ground and playing with reckless abandon. I love to see it. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. Flacco has a little bit of time, throws it out to the flat. Right there, Knight makes a play. No yards after contact. Again, he's dropping in his own coverage. Recognize the ball's gone, goes to the receiver, makes a tackle. Good fundamentals, good athletic play. Really nice job here from Knight. We'll look at it from the wide copy here in just a second. There it is. You can see Knight right there at the bottom of your screen. He gets into his zone drop, right? Does all the little things, just doing his job, recognizes the out route. Look at this. He kind of sees it before. He sees the receiver right there before. You see the receiver hasn't started his break yet, and he's already turning and running. I talk about a smart, high football IQ guy in the film room, guy that knows what he's doing. That's what we see here in Demetrius Knight. He has such a good future. I tell you what, I am such a fan of this guy. I know Shamar Stewart, and I think Dylan Fairchild was a really nice selection. But this guy may be the best rookie in the entire Bengals class. I think he's going to be that good. What high football IQ, what motor, what athleticism. What a great addition to this Bengals linebacking core and their defense overall.